longtime beat writer for the Green Bay Packers, says that the Packers are done with Aaron Rodgers. They want to move on with Jordan Love. They're reportedly enamored by Jordan Love. As Aaron Rodgers walks into his darkness retreat, we believe today, we have a timer going. We don't know for sure when he started. He's being very coy about when he began the darkness retreat, or when he was going to begin. Some thought it would be Monday, Wednesday. He went on the McAfee show, said it would be at the end of the week. We kind of assume that it was Friday today. We don't know for certain, but there's also a wind down period where Aaron Rodgers comes out for about 8 to 12 hours to get acclimated to the light. So even if we're off and he starts at midnight tonight, we're still about the same amount of time. 3 days, 23 hours, 47 minutes, and 53 seconds left in Aaron Rodgers' quest for clarity, I suppose, as to where he's going to be going. So we're going to talk about this and more, and talk about whether we believe there's any validity to this beat writer's report. Here is the report right here. This is from a gentleman named Bob McGinn, who is a longtime beat writer for the Green Bay Packers, and he says that the Packers are done with Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love will be the team starter in 2023. We don't know how true this is. We don't know if his source close to the situation is legit. We don't know. But it might be Jordan Love time in Green Bay. It might be Aaron Rodgers to the New York Football Jets or to the Las Vegas Raiders. The fantasy football show begins right now, pal. It begins right now.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Boy, we have a lot to talk about today, and the phone lines will be open in just 1 second, so hang tight if you would like to dial in and talk about this topic. But Aaron Rodgers, according to this beat reporter, Green Bay Packer beat reporter, he says Aaron Rodgers is done in Green Bay, and he has a source close to the situation. Let me read it. Let me read the entire thing in full, and then we'll break it down, and you guys tell me what it is you think about this. McGinn is a longtime Packer beat writer. This is from NBC Sports, and noted he has a source with firsthand knowledge of the situation. Now, remember that Aaron Rodgers says anybody talking about this situation from his perspective doesn't know anything because his inner circle will not speak or talk about it. But this is not from the angle of Aaron Rodgers. This is from the angle of the Packers. So McGinn may have an actual source. We don't know. He is a longtime beat reporter for the Green Bay Packers, and he says he has a source with firsthand knowledge on the Green Bay side that he added that the team is disgusted with Aaron Rodgers, and they feel as though the four-time MVP did not put in enough effort leading into the 2022 season. McGinn also highlighted that the team is infatuated with Love, Jordan Love, saying they think he's the second coming now. Okay. If all of this is true, Green Bay trading Aaron Rodgers away is inevitable. This is from NBC Sports. The Jets have already been linked to Rodgers multiple times. He could also choose to reunite with Devontae Adams in Las Vegas. Rodgers is supposedly molding his future while in the darkness retreat. We believe he did begin, or he will begin tonight. End of week, he said. Could be Saturday night, could be Sunday. We don't know for sure. So we'll have to wait until to see if this wait and see until he sees the sun to get an update from us. So we got a picture of this. We got a little emoji of the moon right here because he's in total darkness. This is crazy, and we don't again know for sure how true this is. Firsthand knowledge. This is from this reporter right here. Go Long's Bob McGinn, who is, again, a longtime Packers beat writer, apparently. And he says Aaron Rodgers, the Packers are done with him. They're moving on. This is interesting. And if it's true, I'm actually excited. I'm excited because I do feel like Jordan Love is capable enough. Hit that like button on your way in the door. Jordan Love is capable enough to continue on Project Christian Watson, who is, might I remind you, a moon man.
The Moon Man.
dropping loads in outer space.
Christian Watson, Moon Man Extraordinaire.
Space Monsters.
Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, Kyle Pitts were the most recent additions, if anybody is curious. We also have the Satellite Men.
Satellite Men. Space cadets in training.
Get it, London, get it, London. Drake London to the moon, baby. He wants to be on the moon. And then we've got our Mars Men.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars Men.
Look at these guys.
Loads dropping and spinning aimlessly in space.
Look at these league winners. We got Joe Burrow. We've got Bijan Robinson, Jamar Chase, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Zach Charbonnet, these league-winning monsters here. But as I was saying, I firmly believe that Aaron Rodgers has put Christian Watson on the map. He's put him in a position that he can now go run like Forrest Gump without his braces and just take off on his own. And I believe Jordan Love potentially could be capable. Jordan Love could be capable of where's our timer? Could be capable of continuing Project Christian Watson without Aaron Rodgers' supervision. I think Jordan Love's capable enough. We've seen him. I don't think he's a top 7-8 quarterback by any means, but he's capable enough of feeding this man, Christian Watson, the football to the tune of top 10, top 12 wide receiver material. Okay, so that's why I'm actually very excited about Aaron Rodgers moving, because Jordan Love, I think, will take care of Christian Watson. We believe that Aaron Rodgers, let's say he goes to the New York Football Jets. So Rodgers, Jets. Then we got Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall taken care of. And then we start looking at our Moon Man list.
The Moon Men. Dropping loads in outer space.
And we say to ourselves, Christian Watson's taken care of by this move. Breece Hall's taken care of. Garrett Wilson.
Space Monsters.
And that's what we want. These Moon Men have a lot of questionable quarterback situations. And as they all start getting solved, our Moon Men list looks so preemptively amazing that we are going to have, I believe, a better year than we would have had last year had Breece Hall and Javonte stayed healthy. And you all, every single one of you, no one's going to tell you this but me. Good job. You were going to dominate. Your league didn't know what was coming for them. Your league didn't know how good you were going to score. Your league had no idea how close they were to complete domination on your part with Breece Hall and Javonte when you still had Walker and Pierce and all the other Moon Men from last year. You were going to absolutely run away with your league. And I'm here to pat you on the back. I'm here to say I see you. And we're going to run it back again in 2023 with our Moon Men extraordinaires right in front of your face right now.
The Moon Men. Dropping loads in outer space.
Look at them. Look at these monsters.
Space Monsters.
Absolute monsters in waiting, and we're going to do it live. And I can't wait. I'm here for it. I'm here for every second of it. I'd love to know what you guys think as far as this report from this beat writer from the Green Bay Packers. I don't know if he's still a beat writer or if he was a longtime beat writer, suggesting that the Packers are done and moving on with Jordan Love. Whether Aaron Rodgers wants it or not, he comes out of this darkness retreat and they basically say, here's your cardboard box and we want to move on. And he'll be fine with that because he's so mellow right now about everything. He's not even worried about Derek Carr taking the Jets job, which is so funny to me because Aaron Rodgers, I feel like last year he was so nonchalant. I love Aaron Rodgers, okay? So I'm not trying to be too critical of him because I love Aaron Rodgers. I love Aaron Rodgers, and I love that people don't like him. I love that he rubs people the wrong way with his honesty because I love his honesty. And I think he's an entertaining man. And we're sitting here in a world where we're consuming drama and all kinds of movement and trades and rumors, and we're acting like it bothers us. When people say Aaron Rodgers, drama queen, what would you do without Aaron Rodgers? Sit there and twiddle your thumbs? Aaron Rodgers is entertaining, and we absolutely love him. Okay? At least here on this show, we pretty much all love Aaron Rodgers. Some people might not, but for the most part, we respect him, we understand him, we accept him. Just like I accept every one of you for who you are. I accept and love this man, Aaron Rodgers. But I will say that he dilly-dallies a little too much at times, that kind of like, he doesn't care though, but dilly-dallying about the Denver situation, thank God he did. He ended up missing out, I believe. I firmly believe, we'll never know, that he wanted to go to Denver. And when he awoke from his whatever version of his darkness retreat he was in, when he was just kind of sitting back and letting things happen and just taking his sweet time, Russell Wilson stepped in and said, "Hold my beer. I'm Mr. Unlimited. I'm going to go." Oh, wait. I'm going to go do what? Nothing, Russ. He didn't do anything. Maybe Russ bounces back under the command of a new head coach, an absolute monster of a offensive mind, a savant. Maybe Sean Payton takes this guy back to the top. We'll see. I love Sean Payton. I wish the Arizona Cardinals got Sean Payton. But back on point, Aaron Rodgers is kind of in that same frame of mind of dilly-dallying around, and Aaron Rodgers is probably going to maybe, we're not sure, but maybe miss his opportunity to land in a New York Jet uniform, because Derek Carr could push this situation to an uncomfortable, race, if you will, into a race for who's going to land Derek Carr. Because if Derek Carr is smart, if he's smart, he may wait. There's pros and cons to it. But if the Jets end up saying, look, we don't know if the Packers are trading him unless they're watching this show, reading this report, and consuming what we're consuming, and they say, we got a good instinct that Aaron Rodgers is going to be available. Let's hold off on Derek Carr. But Derek Carr could push this thing in a direction that makes Aaron Rodgers walk out of the darkness retreat. Ziggy, Ziggy, deactivate. Ziggy, deactivate. Aaron Rodgers comes out of his darkness retreat. And he says, he comes out and he says, "Hey, Bill," his buddy Bill, "get the Jets on the phone. Hi, New York Jets. Hello, this is Derek Carr." "Derek, I didn't expect to hear from you. What are you doing there?" "This is now my home. Congratulations, you're now a Green Bay Packer again." "I am? Oh, well, I wanted this anyway. This is what I wanted all along." Ziggy, activate. "This is what I wanted from the very beginning, from the jump." That's how I feel it went with Denver. I feel like he was like, "Yeah, I want to go to Denver." Russell Wilson just arrived in Denver, Aaron Rodgers. "Oh, yeah, I want to back up into Green Bay. I wanted to stay in Green Bay anyway." I just feel like that's how it unfolded last year. As much as I love Aaron Rodgers, I feel like he's so uninterested in what's going on at anybody else's time frame. I just don't want him to miss this New York Jet opportunity. I want Aaron Rodgers with the Jets more than anything. I want Aaron Rodgers, wrong button. I want Aaron Rodgers to facilitate the football to Breece Hall, turn him into a little Aaron Jones in the receiving department. I want him to throw the football to Garrett Wilson like he does better than anybody. Does anybody really stop to think about all the wide receivers Aaron Rodgers has turned into absolute monsters? Does anybody really believe that Davante Adams would have reached the heights that he's reached without Aaron Rodgers? If you do, I've got a concussion preventing cone to sell you. This thing prevents all concussions. We'll have 0 concussions in the NFL in 2023 if we all wear these during training camp. If you believe that Aaron Rodgers didn't have a big reason, a big part and role in turning Davante Adams into the level of player that he is now, I'm not saying he wouldn't have been a top 12 wide receiver, but if you think he would be that guy you argue with between 1 and 5, I think you're out of your mind. This man right here turns wide receivers into monsters. If he goes to New York, he is going to turn Garrett Wilson into more than a Mars man. I don't know what he'll be at that point.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars man.
We'll have to make a whole new a whole new
loads
mission.
Dropping and spinning aimlessly in space.
I mean, we've got Mars, right? Maybe it's going to be the rings around Saturn that this guy's traveling to, because there's no rings around planet Uranus.
And off he goes to the planet known as Uranus.
Where Alvin Kamara is now king. Look, Garrett Wilson's top 5 potential material right this very second. If Aaron Rodgers lands in New York, Garrett Wilson will flirt with the top 1 to 4 wide receiver numbers all year. I don't think he beats Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase. I'm not saying that. But he'll have cups of coffee with those two on a regular basis, more regular than anybody anticipates. And if Aaron Rodgers is in Green Bay, if he's in New York, Garrett Wilson will be on a whole nother planet. I think he overshoots Mars and lands somewhere else. What's the furthest planet away from Earth? What's the furthest planet away from the sun? Is it Neptune? Neptune? I know Pluto is far, but it's a dwarf planet. Is it Neptune? Is Neptune the furthest actual planet away from the sun? I believe it is. Let's find out. Ziggy, what is the furthest planet away from the sun?
Neptune is the planet located farthest from Earth in our solar system at a distance of 0.61 astronomical units away, which is approximately 56,974,146 miles or 91,691,000 kilometers away. However, scientists are constantly discovering new planets outside of our solar system.
So, according to Ziggy, Neptune is the furthest planet away. We will, if Aaron Rodgers lands in New York, we will create a Neptune men.
According to an Alexa Answers contributor.
Thank you, Ziggy.
Motion detected in the backyard.
Oh, Ziggy.
Neptune orbits are...
Ziggy, show me the backyard.
Okay.
Why he's at it. Pluto's not a planet, though, Ron. The only problem. What do we got? We got a food delivery? What's going on here? Or is that just Miss Smitty throwing stuff away? Yeah, she's just tossing things in. Ziggy, off. Pluto's not a planet. Pluto's not a planet. I think the time left in the darkness clock is why is the timer like stopping? It's like kind of like catching. I don't know what's going on with that. Okay, so anyway, if Garrett Wilson lands Aaron Rodgers as a signal caller, we're putting a Neptune men up. It's weird. Trying to explain to your wives the Mars men, the Moon men, the Neptune men. I sometimes find myself laughing at my job. Do you know that I spend hours of my day creating a Neptune men list? I spend hours of my day. Someone's like, "Hey, what are you doing today?" I'm making I'm updating the Mars men.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars men.
It's quite funny to explain to people, but it is what we do here. Amazing news. I love it because it gives us Jordan Love, Christian Watson, Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, or Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, even Elijah Moore. And that's great for fantasy. So fantastic. This news right here, Jalen Hurts, Eagles GM Howie Roseman said the team hopes to sign Jalen Hurts to a contract extension as soon as possible. You bet your bottom dollar they want to sign him as soon as possible. Why? Because basically Burrow and Jalen Hurts are going to get the bag. And so is Lamar Jackson. And whoever signs first is probably going to set the stage for a little bit more money for the other. So I think they're kind of almost like holding off who's going to sign first and let the other person take the dive, and then the other person's going to come in and get more money. But this guy's going to command 48, 49. It wouldn't shock me if it was $50 million a season. Now, they're going to try and stretch him out over a 10-year period to stretch the money out and make it a more team-friendly deal. Mahomes signed a 10-year team-friendly deal. A lot of people said that the Chiefs would never win again. Do you remember that narrative people pushed out there? When Pat Mahomes signed his 10-year, $500 million contract, everybody and their mother on news wires and people talking heads everywhere said that the Chiefs would never win again because they're tied up to Patrick Mahomes. They'll never be able to rebuild their offensive line. Their offensive line was a big problem at that moment. They retooled their offensive line immediately. And look what they're doing. Everybody's crazy when they think that the cap is going to restrict a team from doing things at the end of the day, especially when the cap goes up. It's hilarious to reflect back on that moment. Oh, the Chiefs are going to be in some trouble signing this man to a 10-year deal. How's that looking? How's that looking now, Bob? Jalen Hurts is going to get probably, I envision him signing a similar team-friendly deal because he's a team player. I know he'll probably be advised against it. Most people would say, Jalen, don't sign a 10-year deal. Don't lock yourself up because in 7 years, 6 years, whatever, you will see even more money. But Jalen might sign and lock in a team-friendly deal so they can bring in and keep building. He wants to win. He's a winner. This guy's an amazing winning quarterback. He's got the mindset of a winner. He's a top 4 locked and loaded NFL quarterback, a top 4 locked and loaded fantasy football quarterback, and this man's going to get the bag. He's going to get the bag. It's going to be between $48 and $50 million a year, and he deserves every penny of it. I love Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts to the moon.
To the moon.
Next piece of news is Derek Carr. As we talked about and alluded to earlier, Derek Carr kind of controls the narrative right now in terms of where these quarterbacks could potentially fall or who might be taken off the board, which would then in turn create a different, bidding war for Aaron Rodgers if Derek Carr, let's say, takes one of these teams off the board. Or if Derek Carr leaves the Jets and the Las Vegas Raiders on the board, and let's say he goes to Tampa in some shocking situation, or he goes back to New Orleans for some weird, conversation we thought we knew took place because everybody said that New Orleans asked him to take a pay cut, and he left there, feeling like he was insulted. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe the reports are bogus, and they said, hey, why don't you just go and we won't give the Raiders a draft pick. You can come back and we'll give you the bag, bro. And then we'll stick it to him. You and me, Derek. You and me. And maybe that's what New Orleans said. Maybe Chris Olave made him a nice steak dinner, invited him over and said, Olave said, you throw to me, I'll catch it. We'll do it all day long. I'm your new Devontae Adams pal. And then our moon men list goes to a whole nother level.
The moon men. Dropping loads in outer space.
Because we got this guy, Chris Olave, who's got top 10 wide receiver upside.
Space Monsters.
Yes, Space Monsters indeed. But I do kind of believe that Olave and Christian Watson are the 2 wide receivers on our moon men list. I'm not as worried about landing these quarterbacks. Garrett Wilson is my biggest concern because I have him as a potential Neptune man. The only, I don't know. The problem is my Mars men are my favorite players, so how do I even create a Neptune list? The Mars men are the top of the top. I don't know what Neptune's going to even represent because I want to just take all the Mars men and throw them on the Neptune. Those are my favorite players in the NFL right now. And some of them, 3/5 of them aren't even on a team yet.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars men.
3/6 of them. Sorry, half of them. I forgot we had it. No, wait, we have 7 now.
Dropping and spinning aimlessly in space.
Man, look at this list. Okay, so 3 out of 7. I forgot we added 7th. I keep thinking we have 6, we have 5, we have 7 Marsmen. That's just the most I'm going. I'm not going any higher than 7. We can't do it. We can't have it. The Marsmen list has to be something that gets taken seriously, and it's not throwing a bunch of mud at the wall, seeing if it's going to stick. These are the 7 men headed to Mars, and 3 of them, 3 out of 7 of these individuals have never taken a snap at the NFL level. 3 out of 7 have never taken a snap at the NFL level. That is 42% of these Mars men have never taken a snap. And I don't care. You can say what you want. Smitty, you don't even know where they're going. I don't care. I don't care. That's how I feel. The eye test, baby. Your gut instinct. You got to use it. Derek Carr, so I didn't even get to this. I just got so sidetracked, yelling and screaming. I don't even know where I was going with this. Derek Carr, report is that Derek Carr is visiting with the Jets. There you go. Okay, back to the quarterback board because I'm clearly getting heated. The Jets, Derek Carr, this man right here that looks like he's got permanent eye makeup on, phenomenal Phenomenal glare this guy can give you. He looks like he's staring right at you. Okay, this man wants to go play potentially for the New York Football Jets. This man might want to go play for Miami Mike. We don't know. That would be fantastic too. Lamar Jackson in Miami. Don't get me started. I'm trying to stay on track here. But Derek Carr in a New York Football Jet uniform is still phenomenal. Do I like Aaron Rodgers more? Yes. Is Garrett Wilson on Neptune well past the Mars mission if Aaron Rodgers is gunslinging in New York? Yes. Is Derek Carr going to send Garrett Wilson to Neptune? Maybe. It's not as likely, but he's still a Mars man. He's still top 5 wide receiver material. I would say Garrett Wilson goes from top 4 with A-Rod to top 5, 6 with Derek Carr. Derek Carr fed Devontae Adams, 100 plus receptions, 1,600 plus yards, and 14 touchdowns. I'm not that worried about Derek Carr. Derek Carr gets a bad rap. Derek Carr has too much hate and shade tossed upon him because of a situation in Las Vegas that may not be as conducive as we think. And maybe Aaron Rodgers wouldn't have as much success from a winning perspective. Feeding Devontae Adams, yes, we'll be excited. But maybe there's something to this that we keep ignoring. That is maybe a Las Vegas Raider problem more than being a Carr problem. And Derek Carr in a new situation, let's say a la the New York Football Jets or the Miami Dolphins, turns into a top 6 to 8 quarterback again, drops amazing numbers. No, we don't draft him to be our starter because we're smart, but maybe somehow, some way, like Kirk Cousins last year, like Tua last year, like Jared Goff at times last year, maybe we're very surprised at the numbers we're getting from a guy we did rank outside top 10 fantasy QB numbers, but we're getting number 7 numbers out of Derek Carr. If he went to Miami, Tua dropped top 5 numbers on a lot of occasions in Miami. Do we think Derek Carr isn't better than Tua Tagovailoa? Is anybody really sitting here saying Tua Tagovailoa is better than Derek Carr? I don't think so. If you are, I can't help you because Tua is not better than Derek Carr. I realize Derek Carr pissed some people off. I realize Derek Carr felt like he failed. But I think if you take a look under the hood, it's more of a Raider problem than it is a Derek Carr problem. Derek Carr is the top free agent in this entire free agent pool of quarterbacks because this guy isn't a free agent. And this guy, Lamar Jackson, is not a free agent. And this guy quit on us and left us all hanging. I know he's enjoying retirement, and we should all thank him for everything he's done. But I'm still a little bitter that he took himself off the quarterback board when we needed him most. Because we got a lot of wide receivers that need a gunslinger. So I'm a little mad at you, Tom Brady. But this guy, Derek Carr, is the top free agent quarterback by a mile. And there's some people that say, oh, he's not worth $100 million guaranteed. He's not going to get it. Yeah, he will. It doesn't matter what you think. If you hate Derek Carr, which is fine, you're entitled to your own opinion. I'm not going to send you on a lap if you hate Derek Carr at all. You can think what you want, and it's certainly arguable, okay? But if you think Derek Carr's not getting the bag, you've got another thing coming because he's the number 1 quarterback with this many teams that need a quarterback. And a lot of people always say, every live stream, Schmitty, why are you saying Miami needs a quarterback? What do you mean, why do I say Miami needs a quarterback? I'm not going to beat a dead horse on this. Tua's not staying on the field. Most likely, Tua, unfortunately, I love the guy. Prayers up for him, but he's not staying on the field. And I think Miami Mike is not going to gamble his 2023 season like he did the 2022 season, unaware that he was going to be gambling. But more so, do you rinse and repeat and try and go back to a playoff game and not have Tua on the field? Because you know darn well in your gut he's not staying healthy. You go after a quarterback. Lamar Jackson. Miami should go after Lamar hardcore. The Raiders should go after Lamar hardcore. The Raiders should go after Aaron Rodgers and Lamar, both hardcore, as should Miami Mike. The Falcons should get, this is my favorite spot. I don't mean to sidetrack, but I have to. I must interject on my own interjection. Lamar Jackson, in a Falcons uniform, does the most fantasy good that I can come up with other than Aaron Rodgers to the Jets. If we get Aaron Rodgers to the New York Football Jets, and we get Lamar Jackson to the Atlanta Falcons, and we get Derek Carr to, let's say, Miami, we are going to rejoice from a fantasy football perspective like we've never rejoiced in some time, because this feeds so many fantasy football assets on the board that need feeding. And while the Bucs are concerned, yeah, I'm not as tied to those two players. I'm not all in on Mike Evans and Godwin in 2023. So no offense, I don't really care. I am all in on Olave, but we've seen Olave survive. We think Olave will probably do okay. He's a dynamic wide receiver. I trust him most to be out on his own. I want him to continue to thrive. And I also love his hidden value. If he doesn't get an Aaron Rodgers, he still kind of gets ranked lower than the rest of these guys. But Lamar Jackson to Atlanta is absolute gold. Unbelievable. Lamar Jackson. Where's my scene here? Let's try this one more time. We got to do this right. Actually, this is the camera angle I want, and I don't know why it's turned upside down. We got to rotate this bad boy. Give me 1 second. Let's do this the right way. Let's do this the right way. Okay, here we go. Lamar Jackson. Where's my quarterback board? Lamar Jackson in Atlanta is gold. That's what I'm talking about. Anybody that doesn't see the value in Lamar Jackson in Atlanta doesn't know what time it is. Because in Atlanta, he feeds Drake London and turns him into a top 12 wide receiver. Who's Drake London, you might ask? Is that a man that's in space right now at a space station satellite?
Satellite men. Space cadets in training.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars men.
Maybe we have to make this an 8-seater. Maybe Kyle Pitts sneaks onto the shuttle.
Loads dropping and spinning aimlessly in space.
But we do know Kyle Pitts
The moon men. Dropping loads in outer space.
is here, right here, but he might land on the Mars men. If Lamar Jackson ends up in Atlanta, how can we not put Kyle Pitts on the Mars men list? And, people will still doubt him because people love to doubt him. Lamar, and this is the one I want probably. I want Aaron Rodgers to the Jets the most because of Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall. But I almost equally want Lamar to the Falcons for Tyler Algier, for Kyle Pitts, and for Drake London. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. We got a couple of super chats real quick. Let me hit these, and then we'll get back to the news. We don't have a ton more to go through on the news, then we'll open the phone lines. There's so much bad QB play in the league. He's absolutely going to be driving a Brinks truck away from his contract signing. Avatar talking about Derek Carr. It's really funny that people think they don't think Derek Carr is going to get big money. He's going to get huge money. I don't know where he goes, but he's going to get bank. And I think it's, like I said, a smart move if you're trying to outplay Aaron Rodgers is to sign this deal before Aaron Rodgers comes out of his darkness retreat. And Derek Carr's got all the advantage right now because he's the only quarterback on this entire board that can actually sign. Thank you, Avatar, for your super chat. Avatar signed another one. Drake London, PFS 6, highest graded rookie ever. I love Drake London. That's why he's on the satellite list. But Derek Carr, appreciate again your super chat, my guy. Look at Avatar. Two $5 haulers equals one $10 hauler, which equals one moonshot.
To the moon.
If you know what I'm saying. Appreciate you, Avatar. I think, where were we? Derek Carr. Yeah, if anybody thinks Derek Carr's not getting the bank, like the back in the Brinks truck in, like Avatar says, what are you smoking? What are you smoking right now? Because there's no way Derek Carr's not getting over 100 million guaranteed, in my view. Like, I think it could be shockingly high, like 100 it could be a $200 million deal, 120 guaranteed, 150 guaranteed, 100 guaranteed. I don't know exactly what the guaranteed money is going to be, but these teams are clamoring for him. Whether you like them or not, it doesn't matter. Teams are clamoring for him. There are, if we even throw Miami out and the Raiders out, because they obviously cut him, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams that are clamoring for Derek Carr. And Derek Carr can sign tonight. Derek Carr can sign a contract tomorrow. Danny Dimes can't. He's going to probably get franchise tagged anyway. Mike White and Jimmy G, free agents, they can't sign. They can sign next month. They can't sign tomorrow. Derek Carr could sign tomorrow. He's got the free agent pool by the balls, like he had the Raiders by the balls. Like Hopkins had the Cardinals by the balls till he tested positive on his PEDs and they took away his trade clause. Now Hopkins is at the mercy of the Cardinals. But anyway, let's get back to the news here. Appreciate you all. Derek Carr, there's interest from the Jets. We'll see if Derek Carr strikes upon that interest. And then this right here, last piece of news, Eric Bieniemy. Washington hired Eric Bieniemy as offensive coordinator. I'm curious to know if you guys think this is going to work out. There's been a lot of talk about why, and a lot of guesses as to why this guy hasn't been offered a head coaching job. It's still curious, you know. A lot of people say it's his personality. He's got a very unique personality, and when he goes to interview, he just doesn't come off as a head coach in terms of his vibe and his his ability, I guess, to convey it, in an interview. And so the story's pretty much confirmed, right? That those narratives are confirmed because he's going to get another OC job. It's like a lateral move, and you could say it's not lateral because he can play call. But, I mean, I don't know. I feel like if you are a part of what the Chiefs have been doing and you watch both coordinators for the Eagles go land head coaching jobs, and the winning team, the Kansas City Chiefs, who have been doing it, and Bieniemy's been doing it for a while, doesn't play call, granted, can't get a head coaching job, something's going on here, right? So I kind of feel like Bieniemy could have success, may not have success. I don't know. I feel both ways about it. But I think that Washington isn't set up like tremendously well. So something tells me this isn't going to work. But I'm rooting for him. I mean, I from what I know, the guy's a really cool, amazing guy, and they love him in Kansas City. But there is a vibe that this may not work. And you got to wonder why he can't even get a head coach job. And Sandu says, why leave? I think once you've won, like he's won, you want to go prove you can play call. You want to go prove, like, if he can't get a head coaching job because of not play calling, then he wants to go prove it. And if he proves it elsewhere, then he'll get a head coaching job. Are we drafting tonight? I don't know. We'll have to see, probably. So, yeah, we'll see how that works out. But Washington's not a good landing spot. Like, if you're going to go try and prove that, why go somewhere where you don't know what's going on? I like Sam Howell. I do. I think he could be a gem if the Washington football team can use him. The commanding football team presidents, we call them, because they have so many names that at one time or another. But the Commanders, if they can utilize this guy, Sam Howell, right, then maybe he surprises everybody. I think there's a shot for it, right? But Bieniemy's, he wants the head coach job. Yes, Travis, but like, how do you not get it? How do you not get it as the OC of the reigning champion Kansas City Chiefs when both offensive and defensive coordinators for the Eagles go get head coaching jobs? It doesn't make any sense unless there's a problem, which we believe we've heard, right? And that everybody's like, I don't know that he can be a head coach. The way that he operates here or how he interviewed with that, it just doesn't feel like he's head coaching material. I don't know what it is. We'll find out. Appreciate you all. Dial into the show. Let's go.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
All right. Gannon DC lost. The team lost. Gannon didn't lose. The team lost. I think when people blame Gannon, it's a very unfair blame to cast because the Eagles, they held Mahomes under 300 yards. I know scoring happened. I get it, but this is Patrick Mahomes. This is the Kansas City Chiefs. I have no problem with Gannon's defensive effort in the Super Bowl. Everyone else does. I don't. I'm fine with what happened. It's a 35-35 game. It's one of the most phenomenal games we've ever seen. And everyone talks about how the Eagles got blasted. What about the Chiefs? Defense almost gave up the Super Bowl. I don't hear that narrative ever. So, you're live on the Fantasy Football Show. Who am I talking to?
Hey, what's going on, Smitty? It's Living Legend, man.
What's up, Living Legend? What can I do for you, pal?
Man, I had to talk to you, man. You got me scared out here. I'm a Baltimore fan. I've been hearing, all over the news, all over everywhere that Lamar leaving. I just wanted to hear your take on that. I mean, I know, it's a fantasy show. From a fantasy perspective, it's like I want to see him leave too, because you can get some actual weapons and people that actually get involved in the game. So I just wanted to just hear your take on that whole situation, and I just want to let you know I love your show, man.
Yeah, well, so hang tight. We'll chat about it. So hang right there. I think my ultimate landing spot, living legend, would be the Falcons. Like I just, I got up out of my chair. We started, screaming and yelling. The whole chat loves it. He's going to get weapons there. It's the whole, Mike Vick vibe, running quarterback, electric quarterback, just so exciting to think about that again. If you watch, I mean, you're a Falcon, or you're not a Falcon fan, but were you a Mike Vick fan? Did you like Mike Vick?
Oh, yeah. I've been watching football since the early 80s. So.
One of the most exciting players in the history of football. Just Mike Vick. He broke the mold for the running quarterback with the ability to also throw and have a cannon. And some say if Mike Vick played in today's NFL, it would be unbelievable, production. And I agree with that. So to picture Lamar there, look, I doubt Lamar in Baltimore. I've called him a bust for 3 straight years. He's pretty much disappointed 3 years in a row. And I know if you want to defend that, I understand why. But
no. From a fantasy perspective, I can't defend that because I play fantasy. I'm a fantasy holder. So
but even NFL perspective. So he got hurt last year, which players get hurt. We're gonna blame Breece Hall for getting hurt once? No. But when Lamar's got hurt 2 years in a row, and that getting injured has prevented you guys from doing anything, and then the year before that, so the third year from today, if we go back in time, he was just. He busted the entire first half of the season. He was garbage the first half of the season. You remember that. First 8 games, he was he was pitiful. And then he bounced back and he did really well at the end of the year. And he had such a big year that walking into 2021, people were like, oh, Lamar's going to now prove everyone wrong because he finished so strong even though he busted in 2020 the first half of the season. And then what's he do? He gets hurt. And so it's, I understand that sucks. You can't really see all the injuries coming, but he does run 180 to 200 times a season. And then he gets hurt again. And so he's not supported there. They ask him to run like a running back in Baltimore. He's running like crazy. He's going to run over 200 times in 2023 in Baltimore. And what did you guys do last year? You've made it very abundantly clear you're going to go more run heavy than ever. And on top of that, you trade away Hollywood Brown, the top receiving option, and you leave him Bateman, who's proven nothing. And then Andrews.
And then he's always injured as well.
Yeah, so it's like you ask me, do I like Lamar Jackson? It depends where he is. If he's in Baltimore, bust candidate. He's going to be a planet Uranus bust candidate. So I hate to say that to you. And because I know that hurts to hear because that's Baltimore's the reason for that, not really Lamar. Lamar's not going to hold up running as many times as he's running, getting hit like that without support. If he's got wide receivers stretching the field, he's taking less hits from linebackers. Defenses are stretched out. He's getting to run out of bounds more. He's getting able to slide more, get hit by, smaller defenders instead of getting smashed at the line of scrimmage because defenses are like, let's crowd the box here. And let's annihilate Lamar Jackson, who's the only real weapon here. He's a bust candidate for sure in Baltimore. Now, the question is, does he leave? Me saying he's a bust candidate doesn't necessarily mean anything if he stays or goes. That's a whole different topic. But I think because he feels like he's failing there, and if it were me, if it were you, if it were any other human being, what's the easiest way to take something like that? Probably cast blame on those not helping you, and enabling you. And the Baltimore Ravens.
But it's like from the Baltimore Ravens perspective, the fans out here in Baltimore, we are always blaming the front office because why are you not bringing the guys in that can do something there? Why are you running this archaic offense with Greg Roman like it's 1985 out here? You know what I mean? So these are the things that the Ravens fans are saying. All we wanted was to bring in weapons for Lamar, but they keep on paying defensive people. And this is defense. Yeah, you got to have a nice defense, but defense is not going to win you championships. You got to have guys on that outside that's going to do something because you're going to have to put up points regardless of how good your defense is. any team you play, if they got good offensive players, they're going to put up points. Can you put up as many points as them? No, you're going to lose.
What
So
was your
we feel like the front office is not doing what they're supposed to do to get the guys in there to help that man out. So why wouldn't he leave?
So was your fan base, the Raven fan base, like majority of it, very upset about the trading of Hollywood Brown?
Yeah, everybody was.
Yeah. Okay. So I just want to check.
It was a shock. I mean, because we heard, because we in tune. You're a Ravens fan. You watch every snap. You watch every little interview. So you're like in tune to the whole aura of the whole city. And yeah, it was stupid because we knew something was coming because Hollywood had deleted all this Ravens stuff off of Instagram. So we knew all this before the draft. So we already had an inclination something crazy was coming. So we already knew what was going to happen, but it still was crazy when it happened. And then you didn't get nobody else to fill that spot. You know what I mean? If you want to do that, then grab a guy that's better than Hollywood in a trade or something. That's what a good front office would do. What did the Eagles do? They grabbed A.J. Brown. Yeah. You know what I mean? These are what good teams do. They find guys to surround their quarterbacks with to make sure that they can be successful. Miami and Tua, they grabbed Tyreek Hill,
To
and they had Waddle.
To answer your question, do I think he'll be in Baltimore? I don't. Because I don't think you guys are so far apart on guaranteed money. If you guys are really close, that'd be one thing. Maybe the Ravens are just playing hardball, and then you guys are ultimately going to fold and give him what he wants. But here's the problem: is it sounds like you're $100 million off in guaranteed money. That's a mile. You were so far apart in guaranteed money. Franchise tagging sounds inevitable. Franchise tagging creates animosity between player and team. Watching other players and quarterbacks specifically sign big contracts creates animosity between player and team that franchise tag player. Look at Adams, look at Hill. When you get franchise tagged, you are traditionally getting upset, you're getting irritated, and you're watching other people land in new environments with new bags of money and new situations, fun new environments that they can maybe have you flourishing more than you're getting supported over here. Because, like I said, think about it from Lamar's perspective, the psychology behind this. He wants to prove he's a pocket passer. Not saying he is, he will be in Miami, but How do you do that without wide receivers? He doesn't feel supported, and he's going to want to leave. They don't want to pay him. He's feeling slighted. He's already feeling slighted. Right. They're going to franchise tag him. That is an insult to a player, whether we see it that way or not. They feel that way. It's always been that way. You franchise tag a player, you're restricting their ability, and they don't like it. And then what happens? You're being potentially lured in all these different directions. You take all your team off your social media. It's the whole song and dance. Lamar's going to do that too. And then what happens when you franchise tag? Offers start coming in. Lots of offers start coming in. The Ravens don't want an unhappy player signed to a long-term deal either. The Ravens don't necessarily want to play with an unhappy player on the tag. Not to mention, if they tag him and he doesn't want to stay, if they tag him again the next year, that is a higher tag number. That's 120% of the previous year's salary. So it's different.
Yeah.
The tag
that's just bad. And that's just bad business because it's like if you're going to do that, you might as well give him a contract. If you're going to pay him that much money in 2 years, you might as well have him on the contract.
Right. So ultimately, bro, I think he ends up getting traded. You guys are going to get a ton for it. Right. I think ultimately you're going to look at the situation as a team and say, he's not even happy. We're not winning. We can't really solve the problems of, if we give him a huge fat contract, how are we going to bring wide receivers in? Now, the one thing I could say that you could do, if I was Baltimore and let's say I was ordered to keep Lamar, and I was the one in charge of this, and you sign Lamar to a fat contract, that 22 overall pick you have to spend on Addison, JSN. You have to get one of the Flowers. You have to get one of the top 3 wide receivers with this 22 overall pick. If you were to go down this road, you have to do that. If you don't, Lamar Jackson will bust.
Yeah, I agree, and that's why I called, because it's like you were basically saying from a fan perspective what the Ravens fans feel from just a regular perspective. It's like, why don't you want to get these guys and you're building a team like it's 2000, like you're just going to have the defense that's just going to stop everybody? It's not like that out there. You know what I mean? Guys are great on offense. The game is different. what it is. You can't grab guys. There's a lot of things you can't do, like back in the day football. You know what I mean? So you got to build your team to a more modern type game. You got to have those super guys out there on the outside. You know, that's just the game the way it is. You know, you think about the teams that won the Super Bowl. You know, you always got those type of guys on the outside that can make those plays. You know,
so let me ask you this question, okay? Sure. You're a Baltimore Ravens fan. I'm not sure what the draft capital is for the Falcons. I'm trying to look it up real quick, but let's just assume that they have a first rounder in 2024. I'm pretty sure they do. If the Falcons offered the number 8 overall pick, a 2024 first rounder, a 2025 first rounder, because you can trade 3 draft cycles in a trade in the NFL, you know, in an NFL trade, would you accept the number 8, a 2024 first and a 2025 first rounder for Lamar? And the number
as a Ravens fan, no.
Wow.
Never.
Wow.
As a Ravens fan, this how Ravens fans feel.
Yeah, well, that's loyal.
I don't care what the hell. I don't care what the hell happens. You pay the man whatever he wants, and then you give him help on the outside. That's how every single Ravens fan feels. But realistically, knowing how the Baltimore Ravens run their business, watching them for years, watching Eric DeCosta waste draft pick after draft pick on bus after bus, year after year. Why would I feel good about him getting more picks for him to just
but think about
guys that we know ain't going to be good because they don't draft well from an offensive perspective.
But think about what you could do with that, bro. You could, with the number 8 overall pick, you could take Levis, a quarterback, if you like him, or you take Richardson. You know, like he could be a bust. I don't know. We'll see. But you take one of those quarterbacks, you'll get one of the top 4 quarterbacks at that 8 pick. Then you take, if he's there, you take Bijan Robinson at 22. And then you get the future first rounders. And I mean, bro, you could maybe build something off that. Like, I just don't know that you're going to you're going to ruin Lamar. You know, anyway, you're going to ruin him anyway.
But that's what I'm saying. I feel as though the GM it's not Ozzie Newsome as a GM anymore. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, that's not what's going on right now. You know what I mean? To keep it 100, it's Eric DeCosta at the rim. And he's not doing what he's supposed to do as a GM to be able for me to trust him with those picks anyway. You know what I mean? It's not Ozzie. If it was Ozzie, then Ozzie might make something work to get it popping. But Ozzie is not the GM anymore there.
You know what's going to happen?
You know what's going to
happen, bro?
He's not going to do the right thing.
You know what's going to happen? You're going to trade away Lamar, and then you're going to draft a wide receiver.
That's what I'm saying. They would do something crazy like that. That's why I agree with you. It's like that's the type of moves they would make. I mean, honestly, from a Ravens fan perspective, if Eric DeCosta trades Lamar Jackson, just from Baltimore, grew up in Baltimore, Ravens perspective, just let me stay. I don't let me see him on the street. You feel me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it'll be on site.
Ron, try.
That's how Ravens fans feel.
Ron, try again. I missed your call. Okay, hang there, living legend. We'll keep you on this panel here. Bruce, you're live. What can I help you with?
Hey.
What are you thinking on this Ravens situation? Let's stay with Lamar for a second, and then tell me whatever you called for. But what do you think happens to Lamar Jackson?
What do I personally think? I personally think he's going to get tagged. Now, how he feels about that, that's a totally different thing. You know, some players actually hate being tagged. And but they still have to. I think the way it is if you're tagged, you still have to go to like OTAs and all that, or they fine you. You know, he might be stuck there.
Yeah.
You know.
The tag's difficult because from the Ravens' perspective, if you tag him, like right now, you're going to get a lot for him, a lot for him. If you tag him, then and let's say he plays, and you don't think he wants to be there, like he's gonna feel slighted. If he played on the tag, he would not want to return next year. He's gonna be very, very dissatisfied with that situation. And if they tag him and he plays on it, and they expect to tag him again, it's 120% of the previous amount. It isn't the same average of the top 5 salaries. It's actually 120%. So that using the tag twice in a row is a tough thing to do. So the Ravens have to decide, like, if Lamar wants to stay, if he is willing to settle it, and let's say they say, we'll come up with the money, forget it, we've been playing hardball, give him the extra $100 million that we've been holding back in guaranteed money, and they give him $240 million guaranteed on a $350 million deal, then I could see Lamar just taking the money, staying. Maybe he does want to stay. We don't really know what his true intentions are. But if I was trying to break it down from a psychological perspective, I would say Lamar Jackson wants to prove that he can be a pocket passer. He's not being supported there. He's had no success the last 3 years, and he's watching other people elsewhere probably go and get these new deals, new environments. And that's why Debo wanted to leave when he saw Adams and Hill doing it. They're getting the bag. You get more money when you go elsewhere. It just all makes sense. Leaving makes sense. Leaving is the most logical thing for Lamar because it puts him in the best position to win because he's not winning in Baltimore and he's continuing to get hurt in Baltimore. He wants wide receivers, and maybe they guarantee him a wide receiver at that 22 pick. Who knows? But he's as good as gone.
And he sees what Watson got, and he's like, I got to get it, and I got to get that now. That's $230 million.
Bro, let me tell you something too. $230 million is going to be chump change in 2 or 3 years. The Ravens are stupid for not giving him $230 million guaranteed. That number is going to get surpassed so quickly that you're smarter to take that kind of deal. The quarterbacks are going to be getting so much more than that in the next couple of years. Once Jalen Hurts signs his monster $49-50 million a year contract, and the guaranteed money is going to be astronomical. It's going to vault up Lamar's value, and the first quarterback that signs is going to set the tone. Derek Carr might even be that quarterback. Now, he's not going to get that money, but if Derek Carr gets well over 100-something million guaranteed, it's going to trigger this rise in guaranteed money, and it's going to look silly to reflect back and not give him what he's asking for right now, because you'll be paying quarterbacks way more 3 years from now. It goes up every single year. Real quickly, hang tight.
Burrow about to get that bag too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, look, Burrow, Hurts, and Lamar are all like kind of racing for the first contract, or shall I say, pumping the brakes to let the other one get it so that they can one up it. You know, hold on, hang tight, living legend, and the Bruce. Ron Navy, you're live.
Hey, what's going on?
What's up?
Hey, Living Legend's the Baltimore guy, right?
Yep.
Hey, well, I follow Baltimore close because I'm a Steelers fan, and there's no bigger rivalry in the NFL, bar none, than the Steelers and the Ravens. Those are always the best games, and they're just – and so I feel with Baltimore ever since – and I don't know if Living Legend feels this way, but ever since Ozzie Newsome retired and wasn't GM no more, Baltimore's gone down. I don't know if he feels that way or not. But
yeah, I agree. But even deeper, Mr. Ron, it's like this. Ever since like Harbaugh became this ego guy, once Ray and Ed left, and he kind of like took over and started bringing in his kind of guys that ain't going to buck back at him type guys, they got real soft, you know what I mean? Just from a Ravens perspective, you know what I mean? To go even deeper than what you were saying. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Right. Well, here's my why. I mean, okay, Ravens have been getting Lamar hurt, but what if the Ravens were to trade to Atlanta, trade him to Atlanta like Smitty was saying, and they get those draft picks, and then they flip those draft picks, make a deal with Chicago, and trade for Fields, because Fields would fit perfect in that Baltimore system. He's younger. They could probably get him for less signing money. You know, it would cost them the draft picks, but they could get him for less signing money, and he's younger. And that would benefit Lamar, because I think Lamar would be a smash in Atlanta, and it would benefit Baltimore because they're getting a fresh, same style but younger.
It sounds like one of those. Have you guys seen what's the NFL draft movie? It's called
Yeah, I saw it.
What's that? What was the movie called?
Draft
Day.
Kevin Costner?
Draft Day, yeah. Ron's cooking up one of them Draft Day, just complete, like, full circle trades. Where it's like, and Ron.
It could happen.
No. I'm not saying that it's not like logical what you're saying. I'm just saying that would be crazy. You'd be like, trade Lamar, use the picks, then go get Fields, and like that's definitely like a Draft Day script. But let me say this: there is a coach that's capable of that. His name's Mike McDaniel in Miami. He's capable of being aggressive like that. I don't know that Baltimore's smart enough. No offense, living legend. I don't know if Baltimore's smart enough to go do some kind of like crazy, get rid of Lamar, get more picks, go get Fields, you know what I mean? Like I don't know if Baltimore is capable of doing that. I feel like if they do it, they're rebuilding. I feel like they believe in Lamar. And if they decide to go this route, they just start rebuilding. But you never know. Ron, what you're saying in my mind makes sense. And I'm the kind of person that would do what Ron's suggesting. I don't know that many NFL GMs and NFL teams think the way that I do and the way Ron's mapping it out. Because I would go crazy. If I was the Cardinals, I would trade away Kyler Murray. If I was the Cardinals with this number 3 overall pick, if for whatever reason Bryce Young falls to 3, I would draft him. Even if I hadn't traded Kyler away yet, I would draft him and I would trade Kyler away like the regime before did with Josh Rosen. So I don't think you're wrong, Ron Navy, in that they should still try. But I will say from a fantasy perspective, I don't want Fields in Baltimore. I want Baltimore to rebuild on their own and go, no offense, living legend, but this is not a fantasy conducive environment. I want Fields to go somewhere where he can flourish, and he can flourish in Chicago if they trade for a Higgins, which my T. Higgins video before this one talks about that being maybe a potential landing spot. I could imagine, not that I'm hearing any rumors for it, but T. Higgins landing in Chicago would be fantastic. Hopkins getting traded to Chicago would be fantastic for at least a year. Fields, if Fields is to get traded, I just don't. That's so many moves for Baltimore, but it's an interesting theory, and it's definitely a Draft Day script for sure. Like that movie was cool. It was obviously far-fetched, but it was a cool movie. And Ron, you should submit that script.
I love you, Tony. I love you coming on the show and everything, but you talking stuff about my Steelers here now. Hey, one thing is I've always respected the Baltimore fan base because every time we play, it's passionate, but we don't talk we don't act stupid toward each other. The fan bases don't act stupid toward each other. We know that it's going to be a hard-fought game every time, and we enjoy that. And we win some, they win some, and it's just a great game to watch.
Yeah, Tony.
Not only that. It's like every time they play, it's like a one. Like y'all win by like literally 1 point, or we'll win by literally 1 point. It's just like crazy for like decades. It's just always a close, crazy game where like one crazy play will make the game, one turnover at the end, or you know what I mean. It's always been like that. It's a crazy rivalry. But
I really want you guys to do well. I want your front office to get their butts straightened out and do what they need to do because they need to get back to where they were back when Ozzie Newsome was the GM. That's where they need to get to. Whether they
right, and that's exactly how Baltimore fans feel. I agree.
Hey, hold on 1 second, guys. Scooby-Doo, thank you for the super chat. We don't do mock drafts on the 7 p.m. show. This is a news show. This is a call-in show. It's information just turning over and over and over. This isn't a mock draft. Mock drafts and drafts happen in the midnight streams. So I'm sorry, but I will be doing probably some underdog drafts tonight. Promo code Smitty. Get your underdog fantasy promo code on right here. Match up to $100 in your first deposit. So if you want to draft with us tonight, make sure you get on over to that link that I'm going to drop in the live chat right now. We had somebody call in. I don't know if he got in here or not. It was Niner Rick. You're on the phone with Living Legend, Ron Navy, the Bruce, and myself. What can we do for you, Niner Rick? I'm going to guess you're going to talk about Niners. I'm gonna guess you're gonna. I'm gonna guess you're. Yeah, hold on. I think you think you're getting Lamar somehow, but go ahead.
Hey, that's a dream. I wish. I just wanted to talk because I'm thinking if they pay Lamar all that money that he wants, they're not going to have enough money to get him weapons. How are they going to be able to get him any weapons if they're paying him all that money? Like Mahomes, he got all that money. He has Kelsey, but not much else. But he makes it work because he's Patrick Mahomes.
Well,
the Ravens got Mark Andrews. They got their star tight end. They got a couple, whatever players other than that. J.K. Dobbins is going to come back healthy. But how are they going to pay all these people to put around him when he wants $100 million in what they're offering?
Yeah, they have a 22
I
overall.
got a great answer to that.
Well, they got the 22 overall pick though.
They can stop paying all these defensive guys all this money and let some of that max and put some of that bread on the offense. You just paid Roquan Smith the most money ever for a linebacker. You know what I mean? So you got bread, but you ain't giving the right people bread. You know what I mean? That's how we look at it. Like, pay a top flight wide receiver, and then, you know what I mean, draft some guys to fill in for some of those spots. You might have a little couple weaknesses on defense, but you paying all these.
Thank you,
other
Tony,
guys
for the
money
super
on
chat.
defense. You need to put the money in the right part of the pot. You know what I mean? You putting the money on the broccoli and the mashed potatoes, but you got to pay some money for the steak. You know what I mean? You need some chicken out here. You feel me? You got to get some offensive money out there.
That 22 overall.
That's what a good GM should do. You know what I mean? But
that 22 overall pick though is going to land. It's going to land you a wide receiver though. So you're going to get that if they're smart. If they keep Lamar, they have to spend that 22 on a wide receiver. But hang tight real quickly. We got one more call.
They probably don't get a tight end or something crazy.
Niner Rick, everybody hang tight. We're going to go to Ben real quick. Ben, you're live on the Fantasy Football Show on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 caller panel. So everybody hang tight. Ben.
What's up, everyone? How's it going?
What's up, Ben?
I was just wondering, I had a couple Uranus Man suggestions if you were interested in hearing them.
Okay.
I've been seeing Calvin Ridley go in the top of the 4th round, and I think Christian Kirk's still the man over there. But
hey,
I know we're on the Lamar.
Can we hold on? Let me hold on 1 second. I just want to say something here. I got Niner Rick on here, so I got a Niner fan on this panel to address this. But Matt, can I say something? This cry Eagles cry thing that the Niner fan base is using. It makes you look so ridiculous because you're living vicariously. You're living vicariously through something you had nothing to do with, and it's like it doesn't do anything. All it does is make people laugh, Matt, because it's like you literally have nothing. You didn't make it. You're telling a team that beat you to cry when you didn't even make the Super Bowl, Matt. It makes no sense at all. I love my Niner fans. You guys know that I love you, my Niner people out there. But this makes you look so bad when you keep doing this. You keep doing it. And you weren't there, Rick. Matt, they beat you. They beat you. Regardless of how they beat you, they beat you. So when you say cry, Eagles cry, you're basically saying I'm going to cry harder than the Eagles cried. So it's cry, Niners cry, if it's cry, Eagles cry, because you lost to the crybabies that you keep talking about. Like, it makes no sense, Matt. It makes no sense at all, bro. Zero. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Whoever was talking, Ben.
Here's the other thing with that, Smitty, is that, they're crying over the Eagles, but what they're really crying over is when the Niners did go to the Super Bowl and Mahomes smashed them by even a bigger score than Mahomes won against the Eagles.
I love my Eagle people.
I think the reason Matt said that is because a lot of the Eagles fans were saying the Niners were crying about not having a quarterback in that game. And you know what? I was complaining about that because that's never happened in the history of especially a playoff game where a team doesn't have a quarterback to fill in. Like, we don't even have an emergency third. So a lot of the people were saying, oh, cry about it. You lost. Yeah, But yeah, we did lose. I'll take that L. I'll take it like a man, but we didn't have a quarterback. So I don't want to hear Eagles fans talking about, oh, we beat you this, that, and the other way.
They did beat you though, Niner Rick. So like, I understand you can say I don't want to hear that you beat me. They did beat you though. Like I understand if you're going to come back hardcore and teach them a lesson, that's one thing. But you can't really say I don't want to hear them say they beat us. They did beat you. And if we're going to talk about why, everybody says that it's not Shanahan's fault that you lost your quarterbacks, But if you would have focused more on offensive line instead of holding on to Jimmy G's $27 million contract when people were flying off the board during free agency, maybe you would have kept your quarterbacks upright. So I do blame Shanahan for a big portion of why you lost all your quarterbacks on the season. Not in that specific game and in that moment. I agree with you. But you still could have had a line that maybe protected them better. And there's some talk that people have that makes some sense too when they make arguments about how you've got tight ends blocking linebackers. Your system is so dynamic that it does put quarterbacks in a more vulnerable position than an average team. So we can't sit here and say that Shanahan doesn't have anything to do with having no quarterbacks. His scheme does, which is an amazing scheme. He is an offensive savant. He's amazing at that. But he didn't protect Trey. He also didn't necessarily upgrade the offensive line when it needed to. It did very well considering. I will tell you that. The offensive line did very well considering the shape it looked to be in, but you still should have addressed it, and I believe you would have had a standing quarterback had you addressed it more. So I get what you're saying, but Eagles fans do have the right to say they beat you, and it's just weird to hear.
They can say they beat us, but they were saying that we were crying about the game because we had no quarterback.
I get it, but Eagles cry doesn't make any sense coming from a Niner fan. It just doesn't. It doesn't make sense. It's so odd.
It's bitter. Yeah, it's bitter.
It is bitter. At least you can admit it. Matt can admit it. But... Hey, I appreciate it, and if I was you, I'd be bitter too. Can I admit that? If I was you, if I was a Niner fan, I would be bitter as can be, bro. So I understand it.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, Steelers and Baltimore. We don't like each other, but we respect each other. The fan bases do. And so, like, if the Steelers go to the Super Bowl, I'm sure Baltimore, if they're playing in the game, Baltimore's rooting on for the Steelers because they want to lose to the Super Bowl champion. And the same thing with the Steelers. If Baltimore goes to the Super Bowl, the Steelers fans are getting behind Baltimore because they want their conference to win, and they want to at least be able to say, yeah, we lost, but we lost to the Super Bowl champion. And that's what I mean about the fan base as far as Baltimore and Steelers go. But San Francisco, your guys' fan base is like, you're saying cry, 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 but you're doing most of the crying.
Well, hey, can I also say this?
Hey, I just want to speak up. I just want to speak up on that real quick.
All right, go ahead.
I think it's just I'm a Niners fan myself, and I think this is how it is with all fan bases or even like politics. The idiots make themselves the loudest.
Can I also say this, that the Eagle fan base is probably the most disrespectful of the ones we're talking about right now. So it did fuel a lot of the Niners' reactions. I will say these Eagle fans are crazy, man. They're knocking cars over. They're
like they want a jail system.
Yeah, but let's be honest, they did fuel a lot of it. But all I'm saying is, it's even though they fueled it, there's the argument of cry Eagles cry makes no sense. It just doesn't make sense when you lost to them. Like I get making fun of them, but like do something else. Like, hey, glad you lost. Like that would make sense. But cry Eagles, you can't say cry. You can't say cry Eagles cry. You lost. Tweet? You what?
Did you see the Juju tweet after the game? What he did on Valentine's Day?
Yeah, and then the AJ Brown tweet. Which was even better. One upping them, saying, "Who are you, bro?"
I'll hold you when it matters the most.
Yeah, well, AJ Brown made his statement too. And AJ Brown, he holds a whole lot more water than Juju Smith-Schuster when he makes his statement.
Way more, yeah.
So I mean, AJ Brown made waves on that, and some people said he was crying about. Like that's what's so funny is the Niners like he cried about that. Like, well, when can you talk trash then? I guess, but what I will say is this: for anybody that's sitting there saying that the Eagles are going to fall away, fizzle away, they're gonna get theirs next year. Let me enlighten you to something. The Eagles are sitting here at number 10 overall and probably primed to take Bijan Robinson or Jahmyr Gibbs at 30. They got 2 first-round picks, and if Lane stays and Kelsey stays and they don't have any weird retirements, you have this team coming back better than ever. And they're going to be so good. They're the team to beat. I hate to say it, Niner fans. They're the team to beat. The Niners have more question marks in the offseason this year than you did last year. And you have quarterback concerns, and you're not sure how that's all going to play out. And the Eagles have the 10 and the 30 pick. They're coming for everybody. And Jalen Hurts is such
You think they're
a
going to be okay
gifted
losing their offensive coordinator, though?
And Sirianni's he's kind of the guy anyways. The defensive side I worry about, and that's the side everybody says is bad. Like I loved that Eagle defense all year. But the Eagles having number 10 and number 30 is going to put a lot of hurt on everybody. And this guy Jalen Hurts is coming for blood. And
they lost both, didn't they? They lost offensive and defensive coordinator.
They did, but they're going to elevate from within on the offensive side, I believe. And plus Sirianni's the main guy there anyway on the offensive side. So it's like the defensive side, maybe they get better. Maybe they bring in someone and they actually get better on defense, because everybody keeps talking about how bad this defense and the DC, lost this game, which I don't agree with, because it was 35-35 and not a single person talks about the Kansas City Chiefs giving up 35 points on their side and saying something like the Chiefs almost lost it. You never hear it. All you hear is
that's just Chiefs. Mahomes being Mahomes.
But was it Hurts being Hurts? Yeah, it was Hurts being Hurts, Mahomes being Mahomes.
No, Hurts balled out.
And neither defense did well because it's Mahomes and it's Hurts. I don't think that the Eagles' defense failed. I think it's Mahomes versus Hurts. That was happening no matter what defense was on the field. If the Niner defense was on the field,
if you're going to put it down to that, then that one mistake Hurts made, that fumble for a touchdown, that was the difference right there. That one mistake.
Yeah, but I mean, he'll learn from it. He'll be great, and he was this close from a Super Bowl. And there's no way you can tell an Eagle fan or Hurts or whatever that they didn't have the most amazing season to this little tiny moment in time. They absolutely exploded.
Hey, like if the Niner fan, you know what I am bitter about? I'll tell you the truth right now. Back in the day, we drafted Solomon Thomas instead of Patrick Mahomes, and that our quarterback problem would have been solved back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially I think Andy Reid moved up to get Pat Mahomes, so he knew something.
You know what's so funny about all that? You know what's so funny about all this?
Hold on. Let me call on some people. We got too many people in here. Ron, you go first.
Yeah, what's so funny about all this is, Matt and 49ers Rick, they were bored and all that, because we were strictly talking about Baltimore, Lamar, and all this other. We weren't even talking about the 49ers. And when you don't talk about the 49ers, that's when they jump in and they make it about the 49ers.
Yeah.
That's what's funny. Every time it's got to go about the 49ers.
Or like Matt, I appreciate you in your own way. But Matt saying Hurts fumbled the game away. Come on, bro. Like, I realize he fumbled the ball. Hurts brought this team back, bro. He brought this team back. It was an unbelievable comeback. You don't even know if things would have played out the same way. Like, he fumbled the ball. If he didn't fumble the ball, maybe they wouldn't have scored and continued to play the way they played. So we don't know. It was so early on in the process of this game that you can't actually say that fumble caused this team to lose. They may have not had the momentum and motivation to be in the right place at the right time for the next series of drives. So I totally do not at all agree that he fumbled the game away. That had nothing to do with it at the end down the stream. Anyway, let's get back on point. I want to ask every one of you real quickly as I knock you off the line. So we're going to first go to Ben. Ben, I'm going to ask you two questions. I don't want too much of an elaboration. Where's Lamar Jackson in 2023, Ben?
If the Jets don't get Aaron Rodgers, New York could be in Miami.
Pick one.
New York.
Okay. And where's Aaron Rodgers in 2023, Ben? And this is the last thing you'll say, and I'm going to knock you off the line.
New York.
Both of them going to New York. You heard Ben.
New York.
Thanks, Ben. All right, Niner Rick, where's Aaron Rodgers in 2023? Ben says they're both in New York, Aaron Rodgers and Lamar. Where do you think Aaron Rodgers is playing football?
I think Rodgers is going to end up on the Jets.
Okay. And where's Lamar? Where's Lamar going to be?
I think Lamar is going to get tagged and he's staying in Baltimore.
Okay.
I really do.
All right, Lamar stays.
He might sit out. There's two different types of tags. From when I looked at it, there was a franchise tag, and then there was a different type of franchise tag where he has to get $10 million more money and then there's certain restrictions on it. So
no,
there's which tag
there's
they
the,
give him.
Yeah, there's the
you probably
restricted.
know more than I do about
there's
that.
the restricted, the unrestricted. There's the transition tag. There are more than 2 tags, but he would get franchise tag. The reason being is that he would command most likely 3 first-round picks if he went with the unrestricted franchise tag, or the second of the 2. There would only be 2 first-round draft picks attached to if a team were to offer him a trade and the Ravens did not want to match it, then they would get 2 first-rounders, where he would require 3. So they have to franchise tag him with the top-level franchise tag to ensure they're going to get the 3 first-round picks. Plus, no team can...
I think if they do trade him, I think they tag him and trade him, but I think he stays in Baltimore for the most part. They tag him and then they work something out later. I don't think something's going to get worked out in the offseason, because if it does, wherever he goes, they're going to have an extension ready for him, lined up.
All right. Was this Niner Rick?
Yeah.
Okay, Niner Rick, appreciate you, man. Call in anytime. We'll be live tonight, okay? So call back.
Appreciate you too, Smitty.
Yep. Living legend, where is Lamar Jackson playing in 2023?
Charm City, but if you don't see, it's Home City. Baltimore, man, all day. He ain't going nowhere. If you do, I see Eric DeCosta, you already know what it is. I ain't going to talk because that's how you get convicted, but it is what it is, man.
All right, where's Aaron Rodgers playing?
And why?
Okay, New York it is. Appreciate you. Call back anytime, Living Legend. Appreciate you.
No doubt, man. Peace.
Let's see. The Bruce, where is Aaron Rodgers playing in 2023?
Green Bay.
Okay, he's staying put.
And here's why. I don't think he'll take a pay cut. And the Packers would have to pay all that money to get rid of him.
So let me elaborate on what Bruce is saying, because there is a complication that we don't often talk about that we need to talk about. And this I should have probably hit at the top of the show. If Aaron Rodgers ends up getting traded, let's say to the Jets, that trade can't go through until June 1st. Unless the Green Bay Packers want to eat $40 million. If the Packers wait until June 1st, they can spread out that $40 million over several years or a couple years, and they can make it like a $16 million or $17 million or whatever it is in 2023. So there is a strong chance that if a team does trade for Aaron Rodgers, that trade cannot be executed until June 1. So that is a complication in this contract that makes Aaron Rodgers trade a little less likely than we think. But the news today by this Green Bay beat reporter, and it's just one man, he could be completely off base. We hit it at the top of the show. I'll put that on screen real quickly so everybody can see what this said. It was from Go Long's Bob McKinn. Believes that the Packers are done with Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love will be the team starter. He went on to elaborate and said that the Green Bay Packers are disgusted with Aaron Rodgers and they feel that the 4-time MVP didn't put in enough effort leading into 2022. McKinn also highlighted that the team is infatuated with Love, saying that they think he's the second coming. So it's not just that he says he thinks this and he's got a source that thinks Aaron Rodgers is done there. The fact that he had all this other detail with it makes me feel like there's more legs to it. But this could still ultimately be up to Aaron Rodgers if he comes out and wants to stay because of the complexity of the contract. So tough to say, and I should have led with that at the beginning. And Bruce, that was great to remind me to talk about that, because a lot of people don't understand the part of his contract that makes this a difficult trade. The $60 million is not the difficult part. Whatever team acquires Aaron Rodgers in 2023 will have to pay him $60 million, and the Jets have the money for that. They'll be fine. The Raiders will figure it out. They'll be fine. They'll figure it out. They got $15 million available after the Derek Carr release, so they'd have to move money around. But $10 million, even if they franchise tag Josh Jacobs at $10 million and they're over the cap $10 million or $15 million, they'll figure that out. That's not a problem. So it is an issue, though. Wait until June 1st or the Packers eating the money. Now, there's always stuff that we don't know about contractual wise that comes up later that we were alerted to and we couldn't possibly know. Like maybe there's a way, and I don't know that there is, I'm not saying there is, but maybe there's a way for that not to happen to where the Packers eat the $40 million. Maybe there's a way around that somehow, or the acquiring team takes on some money. I have no clue on that part. but it is a complication. So, Brucey, you say he stays in Green Bay?
Yes.
Okay. Appreciate you, Bruce. Call back tonight.
I have one question, Sven.
Yeah.
Is with Justin Fields saying he'd rather play indoors because he feels better indoors and it sucks out in the cold, do you think the Bears move on from him for that? Just for them comments?
No. Comments? No. Those comments. Plus, he says he wants to stay there, forever or whatever. We've heard those phrases too. So I don't know. I think Justin Fields is, and I haven't even really heard those comments, but Justin Fields is probably wanting to stay. Justin Fields is probably staying put. I think anybody's going to listen to a monster offer that they can't refuse. And sounds like to me that there's some thinking inside the organization that they may love Stroud or Bryce Young or one of these top three quarterbacks enough, Richardson, whatever. I don't know if it's him, enough that they would entertain something. Like maybe they do, or maybe they're fully posturing this NFL draft number 1 overall draft slot, posturing it, smoke, trying to pump it up, and they're just going to ultimately trade it down, which I firmly believe will be the case. And like I mapped out on my T. Higgins video, the video back, if the Bears trade down and let's say they acquire the Lions 6 and 18 to give up this number 1 and the Lions take a quarterback there, which is possible. They like Goff, but it's possible. Like something like that. If the Bears had that 18 pick from the Detroit Lions in that deal, they could trade that for T. Higgins, and potentially, do something like that. You never know. But getting a wide receiver after you're trading Fields is crazy.
Okay.
If they were to trade Fields. If they were to trade Fields. So I think it would be they'd acquire Higgins if they were keeping Fields.
Yeah. And Lamar staying in Baltimore. Those are my 2 predictions.
All right, Brucey. Appreciate you. Call back tonight, man.
All right. Yep.
Ron Navy, where is Aaron Rodgers playing football in 2023?
Well, I've already said it a couple times. I'm with Bruce. I think he's staying in Green Bay.
Okay. I think this contract does make it understandable why, but we'll see. Where's Lamar Jackson playing?
If Lamar, I think 80% chance he stays in Baltimore, 20% chance he either goes to the Jets or I'd like to see him in Atlanta, really. I mean, I don't know if he'll go to Atlanta, but if he had to go somewhere, I'd like to see him with Atlanta. Yeah,
that's where I want him. I'm going to project that, let's see, Aaron Rodgers goes to New York and that Lamar Jackson goes to the Falcons and that Derek Carr goes to the Miami Dolphins. Wow. But the only thing about Miami, the reason I think that maybe Derek Carr doesn't end up on Miami and the Raiders get screwed. There goes Jimmy G. There goes your Jimmy G to the Raiders talk. The only reason this may not happen is that Derek Carr wants a big time monster contract and being assured that he's the starter, and it makes you wonder why he'd want to go here if Tua was there and there was some controversy around that. So there'd have to be some clarity, and the contract amount would probably guarantee he's the starter. But maybe they trade Tua away. Maybe Tua's the backup and he has to understand. I don't know. This seems the most unlikely of my 3 predictions, but maybe Carr ends up in New Orleans and the information we were fed about them trying to make him take a pay cut was all just smoke. And they actually told him, come back. We won't give the Raiders anything. Come back and sign a fat deal. So we have no idea. But ultimately, I do feel like Falcons and Lamar is just a match made in heaven.
Yeah, I think Carr, if he doesn't go to the Jets, I kind of think he'll end up with Tampa.
You could. You certainly could.
That's where I think. Saints ain't going to pay him. Saints don't put out money that really, they just don't pay big money. So,
yeah.
I think maybe Tampa would be my second choice for Carr.
Yep. All right, Ron Navy, appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat at the tail end of the last show. I missed that right when I was leaving. I apologize, but appreciate your support. Ron Navy, everybody. Thanks. I'll see you maybe tonight.
All right.
All right, later.
Talk to you later. See you, chat.
We may be back tonight. Go to Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Let me drop a link in the live chat so you guys can get on over there and sign up now so that you're not missing out on getting into a live draft tonight. Because if you're not signed up and ready now, you won't get in. You just won't have enough time. So here's the link, promo code Smitty, Underdog Fantasy. If you use this link that I'm pinning in the live chat right now, it's also in the description of the video if you're watching a replay. That link will automatically insert promo code Smitty, and they'll match up to $100 bonus, dollar for dollar for every dollar that you deposit, up to $100, which is awesome, and makes you more eager to play, right? When you've got like a match of and you could go do these $10 drafts. If you deposit 50, they give you $50. You can do 10 drafts at $100, 50 of which was given to you by Underdog for depositing the 50. So get on over and get ready. We'll probably go live tonight around midnight. I assume there's some nights where I don't make it on. I plan to go on Fridays, Saturdays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at midnight. Sometimes I don't make it on, so just have your notifications turned on. But I will do my best to try and come on tonight like I always do on Fridays and Saturday nights. Appreciate you all. I'm live Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Every single Monday through Friday, I'm live whenever news breaks. So if big news breaks, think, oh, Smitty's talking about it right now, and head on over to the channel. And like I said, I'm live most every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at midnight doing mock drafts and best ball drafts on Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Link in the description, link pinned in the live chat. And don't forget to get on over to the Dynasty channel. Oh, I've got a little surprise for you all right now. I'm going to go ahead and start a live premiere right now on the Dynasty channel. So let me click that right here. Hold on. Hang tight. I'm going to actually press a button right now and turn this live premiere on. And then I'm going to drop the link in the live chat so that everybody can drop in to the live premiere. This live premiere is on the Dynasty channel. I want everybody on the Dynasty channel to subscribe to said Dynasty channel. Set as a premiere. We'll set this bad boy as a premiere. We'll put it for, what is the time right now? We'll put it for, let's see, 6:45 p.m., which is in 2 minutes. The link is right here. Here is said link. Live premiere on the Dynasty channel. Right here, live premiere now. There it is. I'm going to pin that link now. That is the live premiere that's premiering right this very second on the Dynasty channel on T. Higgins. We hit T. Higgins from a redraft perspective on the main channel. You can watch that video, the most recent video back. But now we go over to the Dynasty channel to watch my Dynasty video on T. Higgins and his Dynasty value. Get on over there right this very second. I'll see you there right now. Ron Navy dropping a $20 wad on the screen. He says, awesome show. Go Steelers, go. Get on over to that Dynasty channel, Ron. It's youtube.com/Dynasty Fantasy Football, but the link is pinned in the live chat. The link is also found at the bottom of my YouTube. If you go to my YouTube homepage and you scroll to the very bottom, you'll see both my channels always linked at the bottom. Get on over there now. Go to the link. We're watching. I'm in there right now, in the live chat right now, typing yo. I see Tony in there. Richie Rich is in the live stream now. We've got Terry. Terry's in the live stream. Tony HG, appreciate you being there. Terry is in there. Scott Tyler is in the live stream right now over on the Dynasty channel. We've got T. Higgins Dynasty Value 2023. Link is pinned in the live chat. Go, go, go. You can also find it at youtube.com/Dynasty Fantasy Football. We're going in there now. The live stream's beginning this very, very second. Travis Rose in the building. Scott Tyler. Okay, the premiere is starting. You can hear the music. Get in there. Let's go.